It's like the first time in 3 weeks the whole intro's played.
Yeah, I know. And it's like going audio on my. No, I don't want that. Oh. Hold on a second. There we go. That's fixed. All right. As Instagram doing its playback, and I'm like, where is the mute button? Because usually I have it muted, but for whatever reason, it was not. So good
Nice.
morning.
Good morning.
So good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Dark Roast. I'm Donna Stroll, and I'm here with the beautiful and talented Rose Short. And today we are going to be talking about basically replicating what works in your affiliate marketing or your online marketing. And really, it works for any kind of business that you've got, and how to model that success without basically ripping it off.
Yes.
Right? That's the main
Super important. No more copy and paste marketers. Be yourselves.
Yeah. And I mean, I know we're taught a lot of times in the marketing is to, emulate what works. But a lot of people hear that and think I'm going to do exactly what they're doing. Or worse yet, literally take their copy and then just put like splice a little something at the beginning or something like that. And it's like, you can stitch it, but don't go crazy with that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's more. There's a lot more to it than just, oh, they did this, so I'll do that.
For sure.
So you want to start us off?
Yes. So where do you start, right? Well, study the market leaders. You want to see what's working. And to do that, you look at the people that have like the big following, the lots of engagement that, maybe you're on their email list and their emails are look at their copy, look at what they're posting, all that kind of stuff within your niche. And then also look at like what's working in other niches as well, because sometimes they are overlapping, but sometimes what works in one niche doesn't work in another. So study a broad variety, but also like keep a keen eye on whoever's in the niche that you're trying to be in. And then understand their audiences, right? So we talk about this all the time. Know your customer, know your client, know who you're talking to. And it's the same with them. Like they really understand their audience. They know what their audience needs. And look through the comments and the engagement as well and see what their audience is saying. Because sometimes that'll be way more eye-opening than actually looking at what they're doing. Analyze.
Yep. And that goes for everything. That's your, the content that they're creating, and not just their social media content, right? Check and see if they've got blogs. Sign up for their email newsletter if they've got one or whatever. Go to their funnels and sign up for something, just so that if you really like what they're doing, if their stuff has stopped your scroll, then go and take a look. Yes, you're going to get some more emails, but it's worth it for you to be able to analyze that and see what's working and what's not for you, because you're their target, right? So,
yep, exactly.
And then, like we said, avoid direct copying, and you can copy some of the stuff, but if you're doing a word for word or an image for image replication, you're not really doing yourself any service, because that's not you. That's not your brand. That's not who you are. So if you're not willing to put your own spin on it, make it more personal, yes, you can follow the outline, but make it more personal. And it's interesting because with ClickFunnels and Go High Level, you can copy funnels, and you can, because so if it's a functional funnel, you can break it down and make it work. I think we may have lost Rose. But again, you're going to have to edit all that, because you don't want to rip off somebody else's hard work. The whole point is to learn from it, not just rip it off. It's called plagiarism, even if you're online, right? So, and then lastly, you can leverage their tools and their tactics. So, if they're using certain tools that really work for them, then maybe that's something that you should be looking at. And a lot of times marketers will share the tools that they're using, partly because they might get a commission from it if you decide to pick it up. but also because a lot of marketers really do want to help other people, right? That's the whole reason that they're in it. They want to tell you about things that's really worked for them and share that information with you. So,
Yeah, there's a number of tools I've gotten access to now that I wish someone had told me about when I first got started.
maybe we'll have to do one on the tools and tech, the tools that we use and where to get them so that people can have that access.
That's a good one. Yeah. Yeah, and because like there are some who obviously want to keep it secret, or they go like, "Well, I'm not gonna make money off this, so I'm not gonna tell people about this." But for the most part, you're right. Like most people do want to help, and especially if you're a solopreneur, a lot of the tools are designed to help you take back a lot of your time, right? So like, just ManyChat is one of them, right? Because you can automate like when someone comments, whatever your keyword is, that you DM them, your link or your code or whatever it is that you're trying to do. And that just saves a whole lot of time of trying to make sure you're responding quickly on Instagram and all that kind of stuff. So,
Does ManyChat work for Facebook as well?
I don't think so. I think it's only Instagram, but I'm not positive.
I was just curious because Threads, Insta, and Facebook are all under the Meta
Yeah.
verse, so I wasn't sure if it was cross-sectional or not. All right, so those are the key thoughts. Next is the actionable steps, the things that you can do, like actual things you can do to do that. So go ahead.
Yes. So, 3 to 5 top affiliates within your niche. And then, like I said, 1 or 2 in other niches. 3 to 5 is good because, what works for one personality isn't going to work for every personality. And maybe you're looking at someone who's strictly targeting, like single dads. If you're not a single dad, that's not going to work for you. So you can still see what's working for them, but also look at, the person targeting moms, stay-at-home moms, or, targeting the burnt out on 9 to 5ers. Like, make sure that you're looking at who you want to talk to as well.
And I think it also helps to look at people who are high energy or maybe lower energy, because maybe you're not that high energy, hey guy. Maybe you're a little bit more chill about the way you do things. So it doesn't hurt to look at both of those and make sure that, because if you're only looking at the chill, maybe you're going to miss out on a few things that you need to integrate. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And then dissect their funnels, right? Go to their links, look at what they're doing, look at how they're building them out. Because if you know what you're looking for, it's pretty easy to figure out what they're doing. If they're doing like quick lead gen, right? Because sometimes you click on someone's scene, it's just like sign up, and that's all it is a form. And sometimes you click on it and you're like, Jesus, how much information is on this page? So, if they're using that and they're successful, it's probably because they found their audience wants that. So see, what are they doing? Are they doing info share? Are they doing testimonials? Like, what does that look like? And then follow through the opt-in and checkout. If you don't want to pay for anything, don't pay for anything, but at least opt in, because then you can see like what the next steps are in the funnel. If there's lots of steps, if they have the progress bar or not, if there's a countdown timer, and I really pay attention to how that's affecting, if you're signing up or not. Really analyze all those things.
Yeah, and look at, if they do have a longer page, look at the information and how it's laid out. Where is it? Like, how often do they have a sign up or a click here to join kind of button? Is it just a couple of times, or is it just only at the end, or is it all throughout? How are they breaking up that information? Is like it a splash and then testimonials, or is it a splash and the who am I? Like, just take a look at that, because they're going to have, the bigger ones would probably have people who are helping them work on it and make it better. And so why not take advantage of that ability to see what they're doing without having to hire if you're not in that space yet?
For sure.
And then, you can mirror their content types, but again, make sure that it's personal, right? Don't say the same things they are. Like, there's so many that at a certain point you've heard the same message from 18 different people and it's exactly the same. And this is where a script will get you in trouble every time. Script is just like, the PLR that we talked about last week. It's a jump off point. It's a structure. It shouldn't be just to do exactly the same thing. And they, follow some accounts that actually give you tips as well, right? There's some really good ones, especially, if you're Instagram and or TikTok. There's some really good accounts that provide some really excellent, really short, quick ideas on how to up your engagement or how to increase your viewing time and stuff like that. So you can take those in and apply them and see how they're being used in some of your main people that you're following and trying to emulate. Again, emulation is good, but copying is not so good, right? Like you're just trying to emulate. You're not trying to be exactly like them. You're still you.
Yeah, one of my favorite comments I ever saw, caveating on that, was like, there is a particular program that, like, their whole hook was, you've been lied to, right? Like, you've been lied to about the 9 to 5, you've been lied to about college, you've been lied. And a lot of people that went through that program were basically posting the same kind of thing. And I saw a comment on one of them where it was someone saying, I'm really tired of every other video telling me I've been lied to. I was like, that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah. And just because that's who they're getting doesn't mean that's who you want, right? We get told to emulate this person, but go through their stuff. Is it really you, right? You want to, if you're going to emulate somebody, if you're going to copy somebody that's doing well in your niche and in whatever you're marketing, do they match who you are, right? Or is it you're just following them because they're doing really well? There's a big difference. Like, I follow a few people who do really well. They do things that I will never do. And it's not because they're doing it wrong. It's just because that is absolutely 1000% not me.
Yeah.
Right. And so I couldn't emulate that if I tried. I would be exhausted. I would hate every second of it. And, and eventually, even if I did really well, I'd end up burning out so fast and end up leaving because it wouldn't be worth it to me. So make sure that whoever you're trying to emulate actually jives with who you are as well.
Yeah. And then test it and tweak it, right? Like, this is why we talk about all the time of pivoting and looking at your analytics and things like that, right? Like, maybe you're posting right after them every time. But then you start to notice that, like, one time does better than the other. Make that your core time, and then start, testing, maybe posting before them in the morning or posting like an hour after them or something like that. Because a lot of times when you're talking about post schedules, people are like, 1 o'clock or 2:15 or something like that. But it's also been found that if you post on like the odds, right? So like 2:13 or 2:22 or something like that, you're probably better off, because then you're at least getting in between all the people who are posting on the 5s. So make sure you're looking at it. And like, analytics are so powerful, and every platform has them. Like, if you're not using the analytics, what are you doing?
Yeah. And recognize it depends on what you're posting too, right? If you're doing sometimes it's just a matter of being consistent in your schedule, and that's all you really need. And maybe posting right after the person who you're emulating, or who, you've taken all your style from, or whatever, your key things from. Maybe you don't want to post right after them because you're just going to look, it's going to be too similar. So, the only way you're going to know is to test it and to tweak it and to move it around. And, and you can schedule posts. So you can try, a certain time 1 week or 2 weeks, and then try a different one if you notice it's not working or whatever. Some places like, what is it? Metricool actually gives you peak times to post when you're scheduling. It'll tell you like when your audience, the people who have responded before, are most active. And so what's the best time for you to post? I think HubSpot probably does the same thing. Or
Meta Business Suite does too. They'll tell you when your people are most active.
Yeah, so that can help you. But if you're trying to expand your reach, maybe you're trying to hit people at a different time. People have things to say. All right. And
She's
then, of course,
opinionated this morning.
And then of course build your relationships. You know, you engage with the successful people that you are trying to take your tips and tricks from, that you're trying to sort of build a similar style to, you know, boost your business, through the comments and through forums, because, you know, it helps you, and it also helps you to learn, and maybe you'll be first to know when they're doing something new and seeing how it goes. And they might, like, I know that oh my gosh, I've lost my brain. She does Rachel Peterson. She does social media. She's a social media marketer, and she has like a whole set of programs and stuff like that. And so whenever she does something new, she'll say, I'm going to test this out. I've started a brand new account, so I'm going to test this out and see how this works before I do charge for it. So a lot of times you can jump in on something that they're offering as an educational thing before in its beta state. So that gives you an opportunity. And if you have those relationships built, it gives an opportunity that you can maybe take advantage of for your own benefit, right?
Yeah, love it.
All right. So
yeah, we talked about audience first, differentiate your content, be ethical about what you're doing. We didn't really talk about that too deeply, but I think it's super important. You know, don't make false promises. That's why there's a lot of pissed off ex-affiliate marketers, because they were told, you know, false promises. And that's why they stop after 3 months, because they're not making $10,000 a month like they were promised. And then data. You got to become a data nerd.
yeah. And I mean, take it however, learn what it is, learn how to utilize it. I mean, don't overwhelm yourself with it. If it's not a core competency of yours, if it's not something you're super interested in, definitely put aside some time every week just to look at it and see what's going down. Like, you don't have to be in there every day, but you do have to pay attention if you want to use that information to help you grow and to, you know, really see what's working and what's not. All right. So let's dig into the more analytical side of things, because I know that Rose loves that. And it's actually really important to see how all of this is going to work for you. So I'll let you start off with that.
So, so, you know, first thing when it comes to analytics, obviously, is you're posting, right? You're posting in your content calendar. Now, I personally utilize 3 different content calendars, because if I have something scheduled out in all of them, then at least I know I'm ahead. And some have themes that I like that the others don't. So absolutely monitor those, make sure they're working. Especially if you're using something like repurpose, make sure that it's actually repurposing your content. It's not having issues, because they will disconnect from your social sites sometimes, or sometimes it just won't read correctly. So make sure that you are monitoring those, whether it be blogs, whether it be your YouTube, whether it be, you know, normal social media channels that we think of like Facebook or Instagram. Make sure you're monitoring that those are actually doing what they're supposed to do. And then observe which ones are working the best, right? So then you know which one to kind of prioritize. So like for me, my bread and butter is Instagram. Like that's the one that I'm really good on. So I repurpose my Instagram for my YouTube, for my shorts. So for my long form, I still do it straight to YouTube. But, you know, if shorts are working really well on one and you like that editor, you can use that one as your core and then repurpose elsewhere. And then same thing, like best times to post, right? There's lots of calendars out there that'll tell you kind of the ideal time to post based on your keywords, based on your audience, based on a lot of different analytics. And make sure that, you know, when you're looking into getting a scheduler, especially if you're going to pay for one, that it comes with those kind of themes. Because I've probably tested 10 to 15 schedulers, and a lot of them, it was like, you know, the free one came with, you could do 20 a month, but it wouldn't give you keyword necessarily. Or like, you know, you could do 10 a month, but it wouldn't tell you ideal time. So make sure you're paying attention to those kind of things. And then action, right? You got to take action. You got to do the things. So create that calendar around the cadences that you're seeing, use it as your resource. But then you can also, like, just because you have scheduled content doesn't mean that you can't post in real time, right? Especially on Facebook, like absolutely post when you're feeling it. Just try not to post too many back to back to back, because then it's obviously going to get lost.
Yeah, and figure out what schedule works best for you, right? Always.
Yeah.
So, and then the next thing is your email campaign and the frequency. Now, a good way to do that, to check that out, is to sign up for your, the people that you're looking at and that are providing that sort of structure that you like, is to sign up for their email list. And that will show you a lot of things. It'll get a sense for how often they send their emails. What kind of emails do they send? Do they hit you every day, or do they do it once a week, or do they do it just sort of off the wall here and there? How do they format their emails? What kind of subject lines? Subject lines are a great thing to pay attention to, because yes, you're going to get all these emails. I get so many emails, and part of me is like, I just want to unsubscribe from all of these. But part of me goes, no, because I look at them and I go, okay, well, which one didn't I delete? Which one didn't I just immediately shunt off? Okay, why? And then that was, okay, so that's the subject lines. That allows me to look and see what's actually working, what's catching my attention, because the people you're trying to reach are people usually like you, right? To some degree, they're going to be interested or caught by a lot of the similar things, right? And then track your sequences. How long is their onboarding experience? Like, how long is that? How frequently do they send promotional emails? Do they send it, do they send you like 4 regular emails with just information or story and then a promotional, or do they send a promotional every time? And you'll find out that most likely they don't send it every single time. They might have a link to their signature, like their signature program all the time, but it's not actually being sold. It's just there. And the reason for that is because people get burnt out pretty fast. And again, action, build a plan, build an email plan that mirrors the best practices of your top affiliates, of the people that you really look up to and who really are doing well in your chosen niche. So like 3 value emails, where you're providing actually something useful, and then a promotional email or something that's sending them somewhere else. Do you have emails that, they do this, and then they send you to their YouTube channel to help build that out, or something like that. And then always, A/B test. You do your subject lines, A/B test them. Same email, different subject line. It's a good way to see what's working and what's not. So, they do the testing. You have to do the testing.
Yep. And then keywords and SEO, we talk about all the time too. So like, identify the keywords. Really look for high volume, low competition keywords. Especially if you're trying to really make an impact and grow your channel or your social media quickly. Like, those keywords are going to be so beneficial. Not just hashtags. So like, hashtags are still beneficial, but they're not the be all end all they were. So keywords in your descriptions, this is where good copy in your descriptions comes in handy. Look for those and utilize them. Analyze the top ranking content. Like, maybe you had a video that, got 10,000 views and you normally get 100 views. Look at it. Look at what time you posted. Look at what you put in the description. What topics drove this, right? Like, study the structure of it, and then see what the comments are as well. If people commented, see why they commented or what they commented on, so that you can kind of take that and repurpose it and really figure out what worked.
And you can do that for their content as well, right? Like, you can go and see if their video blew up, do the same thing.
Yeah, because you can search keywords within like the Instagram search, I think it is, and it'll bring up videos that have those keywords. So then you can see, like, where was the keyword? How was it, presented, to kind of get an idea of what to duplicate. Get a gap analysis, see where you're ranking versus, the top affiliation, and see why. And then, of course, action. So instead of creating your videos and then trying to stuff the keywords in, create a keyword strategy. So figure out what your keywords are, put those into your content buckets, and then make the content around the keyword. So often we see people who make like a reel that's really cute, and then you read the description and the keywords and you're like, this has absolutely nothing to do with the video. And the problem with that is that will actually deter Instagram from showing you, because for so long they had people keyword stuffing. And now they've cracked down on it. And so now they analyze the video and like what's said in the video, whether it be verbally or with script. And if it doesn't match the keywords that you're putting in the description, they're not going to boost, or they're not going to go out of their way to put your content in front of people, because they know you're just clickbaiting essentially. So keywords with a strategy is so important than just the keywords.
Yeah, absolutely. We all get taught certain things that come and go so fast, right?
Yeah.
But your keywords, your SEO is always going to be important. So, and it's important whether you're just using shorts on, quick scrolling, quick feed type platforms, or you're blogging, or you're emailing, or you have a website. I mean, it always ends up. I mean, they short funnel or short platforms, they call it algorithm, right? But it's still SEO, so whatever. And then funnel analysis, right? So track their funnels, like we said earlier, sign up, pay attention to how it works, see what kind of offers they're giving, what kind of lead magnets they're using, that kind of thing. And like follow it the whole way, like even how they handle abandoned carts. Do they have a little pop-up? Do they send you a follow-up email saying, hey, I saw you didn't actually go through with it, is there a problem? Do they try to pull you in that way? Because the whole point is learning from them. So if you don't actually follow what they're doing, you won't. Examine their calls to action, right? Their CTAs. How do they drive the traffic to their funnels? Does it, are they using just stories, right? Do they have like or they have a very specific type of lead magnet? Do they use the fear of missing out? So like limited time offers and that sort of thing. Again, when they're on their funnels, do they use countdowns? Do they say that it's a limited time offer? Do they have the video sales letter, which really pulls you in or provides some information or value? These are things you want to look at. And then you can create your own funnel, using a similar framework. You don't have to do it exactly the same, but it really helps because obviously theirs is working. So take a look at that framework and then put your own spin on it in terms of, make it look like you, brand it like you, make sure that the verbiage that you're using is you. But at least, take a look at seeing how they lay it out. Everything from what the page looks like to what they're offering to how the process goes and to the follow-up that comes in after that. So that's your action.
And then we talked about this a little bit earlier, engagement metrics, right? So look how often they interact with their audience, because that's a key part that most people miss, right? They get on social media like, I'm going to post this amazing video that I did. It took me 3 hours to do, and they post it, and then they leave. Got to make sure you're engaging. So look at what kind of engagements they're getting. And again, how quickly they're getting back to it. Are they replying? Are they asking additional questions to get more? Then content sharing, right? How often is it shared? Or how often are they doing collaborations or being tagged in collaborations? Things of that nature, right? Because obviously shared content is going to get prioritized in the algorithm. It used to be saved content, and I think now it's mostly shared content. I don't think saved really matters as much. But you can track that as well and see, okay, well, what is considered share worthy content for their audience, and then you can go from there. So prioritize creating content that's shareable and engaging. Engage your audience by interacting, obviously. Polls, Q&As, giveaways, things like that are great ways to do it. And, it doesn't have to be salesy for engagement, right? It can be like, hey, this is my top 5 whatever. Do you use any of these? Or, one of the big ones is tag somebody who needs to see this, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Especially anything that's going to get them involved. And the sharing, a lot of times that's going to be value stuff, because if they think it's valuable, they'll want to share it on their own pages. So sorry, we lost you for a quick second there.
I know. I saw my screen go black.
So there's lots of tools you can use. Not all of these, like you're going to have to find your own. Like you have a few that you like to use, like you said, Repurpose and ManyChat. You know, there's different ways that you can go and look at other people's stuff. Like Moz, I use Moz and keyword searches so that I can go and actually look at what's. Let me just pull up here. What have I got here? Live keyword allows you to sort of go and look and see. It'll actually analyze a page. So like a website, like if they're, a competitor, and that'll let you look and see what they're doing, and you can see how you rank and what it is, like what their keywords and stuff like that are. There's lots of different ways. So, I mean, just figure out what it is you need to find more information. Now, some of them that we're given here are Ahrefs and SEMrush for keyword research, but I also use live keywords from BIQ and Moz, which allows me to track the value of a website, how good it is. There's Social Blade I don't know how that works. I've never used it, so I can't really say. It says
Social Blade is YouTube mostly.
Okay.
It's great for YouTube tracking.
Okay, so it says you can track social media activity and growth. So I don't know if it's just for YouTube or not.
I don't think so, but I know I use it for YouTube.
So there you go. Followerwonk for analyzing follower engagement and social media influence, which is interesting. And then, of course, basically, I think any email provider that you're going to use will have, some ability to monitor your emails and track and see what kind of traction you're getting. So that's important too, right? And I mean, just pay attention. That helps. Yeah. If you want to follow what your guys are doing, the people that you're interested in doing, I mean, pay attention to how long how often they're emailing you, how long their campaigns are, how long before they say, hey, you haven't opened anything in a while.
Yep, I've gotten those ones.
Yeah, me too.
Well, and if you're doing it on your own too, it can be really eye-opening, right? So if your primary link, let's say that you're trying to, if you have a Facebook group, right, and you're trying to get people in that Facebook group and you're only putting it in that first email, and then you look at your analytics and go, you know what, 10% of the people are opening my first email, but 60% are opening my second email. That'll tell you to add the link in the second email or even the third, and make sure that you're putting it up, because maybe they missed the first one, or maybe it went to junk, or they marked it safe but they didn't actually look at it. So that's where that really comes in handy.
Yeah, I like it. And then, of course, the key areas to focus on, same thing as we said before, your consistency, your timing, your keywords, and the funnel design and engagement. And by doing all of those things, paying attention to those things, you can really use those success stories, those successful marketers, as your blueprint. But the blueprint is just emulation. I don't know how come I feel like I need to repeat this a million times, because I have just seen so many people do exactly what somebody else is doing and then going, well, why am I not getting the engagement? It's like, because you're not them. It doesn't sound authentic coming from you. Or I've already seen them and it just sounds like you're just repeating what they're saying. That's not how you want to do it. You want to take what they're doing and what works, but make it yours. You don't want to be like the 70s house where every block on the house looked the fucking same. Just just make it your own.
Hi, Mustafa. Sorry, your comment did not come through where we're at, but I just saw it on Facebook. So good morning or good evening, I believe it is for you. We are good. Thank you so much for watching and commenting.
We always appreciate it.
Yes. So that about wraps it up for this week, guys. Next week, we are going to get into something that we both believe is very important, especially when you're starting out, which is, should you be an affiliate for physical or digital products? And we're going to go over some of the pros and cons for both.
Yeah, because both have value, right? So it's not to say, and both come with their own issues.
Yes. Yep.
So exciting, exciting. All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone. If you enjoyed this or if you found value in this, please drop a like or share this with someone else. Always, please subscribe. It makes a world of difference for us and for us to be able to reach more people. And if you have any questions or comments, just leave them below. If you'd like us, if we haven't touched on a topic or you want us to revisit a topic, again, drop that in the comments. Just let us know. We're here to try and help you grow. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good Friday.
Bye.